Hi guys, welcome back to the Girls on Reddit's podcast. This is episode, I believe, 4. And I'm here again today with my boyfriend Kyle.
Hi.
And today we will be doing paranormal stories. That was a surprise.
Yay.
So I have a few stories picked out off of the subreddit. I believe it's Paranormal Stories, that's the subreddit. Or r/ghost stories. I went through a couple just to make sure we get like really good stories, and I have a few long ones and a few short ones to kind of get us through this episode. And yeah, we can kind of get started. We wanted to do paranormal, I believe, because we really, well, believe it or not, we believe in the paranormal, and we do think that entities, good or bad, are real. What do you say?
Yep, definitely real.
And I think that we've had experiences with it, in our own, like, separately and together. We definitely think that there is something in our house.
Yeah.
You would say?
Definitely. Has been. A couple of them.
A couple.
Every now and then.
And it's like, it's not even like dreams of it. It's like when I wake up and it happens. So we're going to see on like other people's stories and then kind of see if it correlates with ours that we have here. Because we're definitely sitting probably in what he deems is the most haunted room in this house.
Definitely.
So,
there is definitely something in here.
We've definitely heard sounds that just don't make sense to us, you know? So I'll get on with the first story. This one is, did this ghost predict my uncle's death? Off to a great start, as always. So first of all, excuse me if some sentences don't make sense. It already started. The English is not here. It has already started. The first sentence. And that's like the same sentence she's saying that she's apologizing for. English is not my first language. Okay. But I'll try to tell a story to the best of my abilities. This is going to be a long story. All right. Get all cozy for this. But I need to get it off my chest while I don't feel judged for making a story or looked weird at. So, in my whole life since I was about 5, I saw ghosts multiple times. As a child, I didn't really think some were ghosts. It just terrified me that somewhere there's just really odd visions. Okay, bear with me on this because I'm trying to make the sentences make sense in my brain before they come out of my mouth. And some of them are just falling short. This one I'm about to tell you is the most outstanding for her. So, like, the most paranormal one to her. When I was about 10 to 12, I used to go to volleyball practice after school. It was sometimes at beginning of autumn when for some reason my volleyball practice ended a bit later than usual for some reason. This is going to be a challenge. I had to walk home alone in the dark, but I wasn't worried as it wasn't too unusual to walk home in the dark after school hours or being out with friends. Also, I was just about a 10-minute walk from home in a small town. This was in the early 2000s, late 90s. Early 2000s, late 90s? I would have just said it's in the late 90s if that's the case, not the early 2000s. I don't know, that's weird. And then again, English is not her first language. I gotta keep that in mind. It's really hard for me to remember exact years/dates due to PTSD. We didn't have phones as kids, so our parents just had to trust us, which was normal back in those days. She made it sound like it's like back in ancient, you know, like days back in like 90s or like the 80s or 70s where you like, you know, gosh, it's not that far. It's like 25 years. So that one night I was walking home, everything was normal. I was about 4 to 3 minutes left in my walk to do. Wow, I am struggling. I had about 4 to 3 minutes left in my walk when all of a sudden I got cold. It was weird, but beginning of autumn at night can be cold, so I just brushed it off. Then after a few seconds later, deep fear came to me. I felt really uneasy, so I started to walk faster. 2 more minutes and I get home. At this point, my apartment was just out of sight because of a few trees. All of a sudden, a man's voice started shouting my name once. As I turned around, my heart dropped. I've never seen this person, and he looked quite unusual. He was an old man in about his 70s, quite short, not much taller than me, but about around like 5 foot. He is dressed in all white gown, like a wizard gown. His pure white beard and hair was down to his shins. Down to his shins? That's some long ass hair, man. He shouted again, this time not my name, but my uncle's name. I found that weird. Why is he shouting my uncle's name? Does he know him and knows I'm his niece? Okay, so it quickly through her mind, like she started thinking, well, I'm an extremely skinny girl and small. I'm terrified and he could do anything to me if he catches up to me, so I started running. That's just to summarize that sentence. He shouted my uncle's name a few more times while I was running. I looked back a couple times to see if he was catching up. He was walking at a slow pace and he didn't get any closer, but I didn't manage to get any further from him either. Mind you, I was running and he was just walking. Did that sentence make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay. It didn't make sense to me when I read it. Then I thought my life was over. My house key dropped out of my pocket. I ran a few more steps while thinking about my options. 1, I run back a few steps and he might catch up. 2, I leave the key and then just ask my mom to let me inside. I needed the key for our door because our door was always locked after dark no matter what of the time. I decided to run back for my keys as I might still have better options running away from him while waiting for my mom to open the door. As I turned back, I was all alone. I looked around to see if he catched up and maybe hid behind something, but there was no way he could have hid away and even go away in any matter of seconds. In the matter of seconds to disappear. I picked up the key, ran back home. I didn't tell anyone this until a few years from now. I was glad I got home safe, but I was still terrified that night. I thought about why he was shouting my uncle's name again. It didn't make sense. I wasn't too close to him, but he was living with my grandma just the opposite block. So I saw him nearly every day, except on the days when he disappeared for a few days. He was an alcoholic and disappeared for a few days from time to time. I don't believe whoever was that, or whatever it was, a ghost or a higher power, whatever you want to call it, had bad intentions. I had multiple extremely realistic sleep paralysis where I knew the demon was real and evil, but that's a story for another time. I think that would have been the story to go with as the outstanding or the most interesting one you could have probably told.
Yeah,
because sleep paralysis is no joke. And when it comes to sleep paralysis, I feel 10 times scarier because of the fact you cannot move.
Absolutely horrifying.
It's terrifying.
And been there, done that.
Like, it's
no thank you.
Not a fun experience. Anyways, this old man was different, even though I was scared of him. I didn't think much of this after a few days passed. Seeing humans or ghosts that was actually not there happened a few times, even though this was the realest situation I've ever been in. A few months passed by and my uncle died. Some of his homeless addict friends beat him to death a couple of blocks from home. Okay. I'm trying to read this. Okay, so wait, I'm just gonna rephrase that whole thing. So she's seeing ghosts, having sleep paralysis, and all that fancy stuff. And then her uncle passed away, beaten up, a couple blocks from his house. Till this day, I think about him. I was never too close to him because our family didn't know how to show affection, and he was always talked down on because he was still living with his parents and was an alcoholic. Now I realized I'm sure he was depressed and had a lot of unsolved issues, but he had never hurt anyone, and quite frankly, he was the only man in the family I was comfortable being alone with. I hated my grandpa. He never hurt me, but I always felt uneasy around him. My father, I hate him even more until this day. On the days when I went over to my grandma and she wasn't home, I was alone with my uncle. I knew it was going to be a chill day where I draw. He watches the TV and gives me a few tips on how to draw better. That was our thing, and that was one of the few times when I wasn't worried about anything as a child. There's no comments. This was posted 8 hours ago on this subreddit. That's a lot.
Yeah.
What is your take on that?
She saw a ghost. That's it.
That's it?
That-
That was, well, I don't know. That was weird. I wouldn't say, like, because we gotta go back to what the title is did this ghost predict my uncle's death?
How?
Because he said his name a couple times?
So she heard the ghost say a couple of like her uncle's name.
Yeah, and her name. Mind you, this is a dude that's in, like, all white. Hair down to his shins.
Long haired Jesus.
Wizard hat, wizard cloak.
Yeah, that's freaky.
But, like, just standing there, and then he disappears out of thin air.
Yeah, I'd run.
Would you have gone back for your key?
No.
You would have waited outside for your mom to open the door?
Yeah.
What if he catches you at the door?
Run.
You've just killed your entire family. Most likely. Or you've just haunted your entire family.
I'm not messing with that
To
stuff.
some old 70-year-old man in all white.
Yeah, run.
I don't know. I wouldn't say necessarily that this person, ghost, entity, whatever it was, I wouldn't say that they predicted the uncle's death. I mean, it's a little weird timing. I mean,
Like she could have reached out.
she could have been like gone to her uncle and been like, hey, I saw this
feels
thing.
off, yeah.
And it was saying your name and my name, and I don't know how it knows me, and I don't know how it knows you. Is everything okay? Like, what's happening? I mean, it's a little weird that I don't know. Did it say when did the uncle pass away? But didn't she say that it was a few months passed by and my uncle died? See, that's where, I don't know, because I feel like she said, like, she had seen this person / ghost a couple times after that sighting. I don't know. That's a weird story. I don't know. I wouldn't say that's prediction right there, but
No, maybe just a sign for something, and then that just happened
coincidentally. Coincidence.
Yeah.
Coincidentally that happened. I like the only way I could say it would be like prediction is if literally they're like something came to you or in your dream, and it's like, oh, like this is what's happening or something's gonna happen, and then it happens like a few days later. That would be more of a prediction, in my opinion, not like someone saying your uncle's name and then never showing up again or whatever, and then my uncle dies like a couple months later. That to me is a little, I don't know, suspicious, but it's not that. I don't think it's prediction there. Anyways, all right, the next story I think I'm going to read. I don't necessarily want to read a long one again, so I'm going to do a shorter one, and then we'll do another long one after that. This one's the most common, I think, thing that happens in houses when it comes to ghosts or paranormal activity. It's footsteps on rooftops, I will say. In my old house that I lived in, I always heard stuff in the roof. It could have, like, half the time it was animals, I will say, because we had a lot of squirrels and a lot of rats and stuff like that. But, like, you would be laying in your bed and you would hear, like, it sounded like footsteps above you in the roof. And we would be on the top floor of the house. And no one goes in that crawl space because you have to go in the hallway to get up to the crawl space. And it's in, like, a little block on the roof. So I used to hear footsteps a lot, and it scared me for sure. But yeah, so this one is called Footsteps on My Rooftop. That's why I just wanted to, yeah. So I'll get right into it. So my mother thinks that our apartment is haunted, and whenever she's alone at home, there's something looking at her or someone who stays in the room where my mother and I sleep.
Run, run,
Yeah.
run.
But like, who stays? Okay, is your mom? I'm hoping like their mom and them are sleeping in different rooms. That'd be a little weird.
I wouldn't be. I'd be
You're
scared
sleeping in the
shitless.
same room as your mom as an adult. Once she felt as if someone grabbed her foot while she was half asleep, and then once she saw someone running across one room to another in fast speed. They grabbed your foot.
Burn the house down. Get out of there.
No, sage yourself and move.
Oh,
It's an
man.
apartment, so you have to burn the apartment building.
Yeah, no, you can't do that.
So you have to sage it. Okay. If I saw something run across the room, I have. In this house, I have. You
Yeah,
have.
Me too. Yep.
And we've seen something, and it's like, it's like out of the corner of your eye. And so you start questioning if it's actually a thing that you saw, or if your brain is, like, playing you or not. But we've definitely, like, actually seen things move in fast speeds and slow. And they're there, for sure. We just don't acknowledge it.
Until right now.
You are welcome if you're in the room with us, but anyways, we'll keep going. For a long time, I used to hear footsteps on my rooftop, and I was like, probably people who live above us, because they have. I'm reading this how it's written, because they has a naughty 10-year-old son. Some days it was even at 3 a.m. loud and clear, and I never considered it as paranormal because I was too occupied with my study sessions at night. A few weeks ago, my mother told me about all these footsteps actions, and I noticed them as well. When my younger brother asked the kid about footsteps, and he went like, I go to bed before 10 p.m. Still, I was like, it could be anything but not paranormal until last night. Around 12 a.m., footsteps started, and in the beginning it was slow and extremely low, but slowly it started making more and more noises. It felt as if someone was jumping angrily and running so fast using all their strength. Especially right above my bed, and the sounds were loud and clear. Why would anyone bang their foot on the floor in the middle of the night? So they're basically like trying to figure out if they have something. I mean, if your mom feels her foot getting pulled and seeing stuff, and you're seeing stuff, and you're hearing stuff, I would say maybe. But then again, you can't rule out that, like, the kid might be, like, getting up and going to the bathroom. Or sleepwalking, because that's a thing. Not a lot of people... Well, some people deal with that.
Yeah. Yeah, they do.
So, that could be literally anything. There is a comment that says, like, have you talked to the landlord? Just be objective, and maybe they have a ghost upstairs as well, or just, like, spatially insensitive. So basically what we're what we're talking about, but like they said, the original person commented and said not yet, but I probably will. This person commented again and said, it happened to me once. I talked to the secretary, and she said no one lived upstairs. They were remodeling it. Later on, I found out the place was haunted. Even the kids playing outside turned out to be a ghost. Sorry. What? I figured the kids were ghosts when I heard them playing outside after 1 p.m. on a school night. I mean, maybe like 1 a.m. on a school night? And I looked outside and there were no kids playing.
Yep, that's creepy. That's so creepy.
That's scary as fuck. That's no. 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 Damn. No, thank you. I'm okay. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. It's okay. I think this story would be better. You want to try reading it?
No, I'm good, thank you.
The ghost my friend unintentionally passed down to me. That is not a friend.
Yeah, that sounds really nice.
Let's be honest. Okay. I am a person who has more sensitivity to the paranormal world. I used to not be a believer, but as more and more encounters came to me, I began to not deny it altogether. One story, though, will last with me for the rest of my life. My first ever encounter with the paranormal activity. This is a long story, so bear with me. For the sake of privacy, we will have letters resembling the people in the story. The friend who is the main part of the story will be addressed as G, and the second friend in this story will be addressed as J. Got it? Okay. This story began a few years ago when I was still friends with G and J. J lived in another state, but we would call often. And G lived around the corner from my house and also would hang out often. I myself loved to collect things. Not necessarily haunted or creepy, but merch. Around this time I was 14, and I began to collect plushies that were cute, chibi, and related to my favorite franchises. My friend G, one night while we were playing Minecraft on the phone, randomly asked, "Hey, I just remembered I have this Five Nights at Freddy's doll that I've been wanting to get rid of, but don't have the heart to get rid of it. Do you want it?"
Mistake number 1.
I love Five Nights at Freddy's, but I hate it. Terrifying. I don't know. Animatronics, not my thing. I was a little confused at first by the question. However, I was excited by the thought of a new doll to my collection. So I said, sure. You have a doll collection. That...
Mistake number 2.
I don't like that. I don't like dolls. Dolls freak me out and will forever freak me out because if I catch one moving on its own, you bet you I'm going to throw it out and burn it and make sure it does not come back like Annabelle. Anyways, before I could ask what time I should pick it up, they hung up the phone and didn't answer any callbacks. A few minutes later, I heard a knock at our porch door and turned on the porch light to look out the window frame of our porch door. Wow, porch. The porch light isn't very good, so all I saw was a doll on the window and a black figure standing behind it that caused me to scream from sudden shock.
I would be too.
I know, you scream. If I scare you, you scream. I heard G behind the door apologize and say that it was just them, so I opened the door. I was very confused by the fact that they had rode their bike all the way to my house, but I smiled and greeted them anyway. Long story short, G left me with a FNAF doll. I looked at the doll and realized it was a Ballora doll. That ballerina one. Oh, that one's even worse. I think I would have been fine with just the regular characters of Five Nights at Freddy's, but like the ballerina? No, I'm okay. Anyone who collects FNAF dolls and have seen pictures of the I think it's called Ballora doll, know that they are weird looking and a little freaky. However, this doll in the particular looked like it had been through hell. The white was dark and almost gray, like my brother's toys that he's had ever since he was 2. I was a little freaked out, but I didn't have the heart to throw the disgusting thing away, since it was a gift from a friend. It had a weird musty smell, like it came from an old person's house, so I decided to wash it just to be safe. I put the thing through the wash 3 times. Color and smell didn't fade.
Yeah, that's a problem too.
I would have just bleached it at that point. Eventually, I gave up and placed the doll on top of my TV stand. My TV stand is extremely large, and I propped the doll on the very top of one of my boxes of the Beanie Boos that I had been trying to get rid of to help support its back. The way the TV stand was built, it had almost like a railing near the top, so if the doll were to fall, it wouldn't fall completely off the top and would either fall sideways in a laying down position Why did I put it up so high? Because I live with a destructive little brother. Anyway, shortly after getting the doll, things began to happen. Only little things at first, like some of my stuff. Some of her stuff started like very vaguely moving around. Um, or one of the shelves of my bookshelves kept breaking. I was confused and started to feel weird tingly sensations. Run is my advice. Run. At this time, I didn't know I was sensitive to the paranormal and that these tingly sensations skin my fingertips whenever something was about to happen would become a common occurrence in my future. That's like a superpower, but not.
Yeah.
So imagine like you're laying in bed and you just get this like weird pins and needles feeling in your body in certain area, your hands or your feet or something, and then something happens.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like to know. Be prepared.
Spidey sense.
Just take the spidey sense, exactly. Yeah. For the paranormal. You're like, Top Hat Man is going to stand on my bed tonight.
Why you gotta name things?
I'm not naming
Yikes.
things. He doesn't. I didn't give him a name.
Well, okay, so we have a cloth thing on that side of the room, and that's where some of the things are, like collectible things that we have. And something came with one of those things, and they stayed. So, if that light is off on that side,
you'll see.
We'll see something.
It's usually just standing there.
Yeah.
We don't acknowledge it as much as possible. I mean, like, so we do talk about it, and we do, like, we don't give them names, and we don't, like, talk. Well, he talks to it as if, like, he's not provoking it, but he, like, will, like, just say, okay, leave us alone, please, kind of thing, because it could get so bad to the point where, like, we just constantly hear sounds, like, it could either be constant or it would be once in a very, like, blue moon kind of thing.
Or constantly see things through our glass
doors. He sees more than I do, but I get the dreams and, like, the paralysis type of thing, where I've, like, been laying in bed with him, and he'll be, like, fast asleep, and it's, like, probably, like, 3 a.m. usually. Typically, they're on that time, and, like, I will be awake, but, like, I can't move. It's like a sleep paralysis, but I know I'm awake, because I don't, like, awake. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when you're in a sleep paralysis, you are awake, and you can't move, but then when you eventually get out of it, you can wake up. And it's, like, it's weird. For me, that's how I experienced it. But for these ones, it's, like, when I saw the figure at the end of her bed. It was standing between me and him at our feet, and it was like standing like this, but with a top hat and a cloak, and he like had the long trench coat, and he was standing there, and I remember like I couldn't move, and then I was like not even a couple seconds later, I was able to sit up, and he was gone. Like, he jumped off the bed, and I was able to stand up or sit up. So, like, I didn't, like, and I was able to get up and move, and I knew I was awake. So it's not, I don't think it was really, like, a sleep paralysis, but it was something. And, yeah, it was interesting. Anyways, eventually I contacted G about this matter. At this point, I didn't know that the activity was connected to the doll, and I was eating McDonald's that night as I spoke to her about it on FaceTime. The bag was in my lap as I sat in my chair, and then something unbelievable happened. As I was telling G about the activity, the Five Nights at Freddy's doll flew off my TV stand, over the rail, and straight into the McDonald's bag on my lap. No.
Yeah, nope. If it just fell, that's something else. But
well, like, even she was saying, like, it couldn't have...
At you?
It can't fall off because of the railing.
Yeah.
And then she said if it did fall, it would go into a laying position, or it would just fall back, like,
yeah,
you know, not completely off the freaking TV stand. I sat there dumbfounded, and G must have noticed because she asked, "Are you choking?" You froze and grew pale. When I told them what just happened, she freaked out. I carefully put the doll back, and it never happened again. But a few days later, something else happened. One night, I was laying in bed trying to get some sleep. For the relevance of the story, I will admit that I have ADHD and I'm a messy person.
I'm not that messy.
Don't come to the comments berating me that ADHD is an excuse. That's not what the story is about. My nightstand is covered in water bottles, and my bed is covered in pillows that I like to pile with. As I was laying there, suddenly I felt a force push the top corner of the mattress upward. The entire mattress moved and started being pushed to the side.
Yikes.
I gripped onto the bed sheets as the mattress turned sideways and the pillows flew off my bed and knocked all my empty water bottles onto the floor, causing a loud crash. Then the mattress was let go and it fell back down, causing my whole bed to shake. I laid there gripping the sheets until my knuckles were white, heart hammering in my chest, but no scream came from my lips. I don't remember much after that, but what I do remember was wondering if there was someone under my bed. Okay, let's unpack that really quickly before I continue.
Yeah.
Your mattress frickin' moved with you on it. Is that not a clear sign that something is happening and it's not cool and you should leave? I don't know what else will tell you.
Yeah. Number 2, your bed needs to be flat on the ground. There shouldn't be space for something to be under it.
Hold on that thought, because our bed frame, there is.
Yeah, but it's like this thin.
Yeah, that's true. Don't let it be bigger than a person, because
Yeah, you're always going to have that thought. No
it
thanks.
freaks me out. Like, I don't like. No. Oh, that's just. I have chills right now. I've got goosebumps.
See, I don't mind if any of this stuff happens anywhere other than the bedroom. But if it's in your bedroom, that really freaks me out.
No bueno. No bueno.
Yeah.
If I'm honest. And then, like, while I was reading that story, there was a tick. There was a sound in this room.
Probably catch it on camera.
No.
Yes.
I don't think so. But it wasn't loud enough. But it was loud enough for us to notice. Alright, anyways, we'll keep on with the story. It felt like I laid there for hours having a silent panic attack that blurred my vision. I wanted to scream. I wanted to rush my mom's room, but it was like I was petrified to the bone. The room was eerily silent. Even my fan shut off. Eventually, I managed to build the courage and run to my mom's room. I was crying and too afraid to go back to my room. My dad went to check under my bed, but no one was there. He asked if it could have been the cat, and I told him that he was crazy because the cat slept outside that night, and it was too strong to be a small animal. My mom allowed me to sleep with her that night, and I am not ashamed that I did it at 14 years old because I was scared in my mind that there was someone in my room, refusing to believe it was paranormal. As I laid there still crying, it almost felt like someone ran into the room and slammed into the bottom corner of my mom's bed. Oh! She didn't realize because she was too busy trying to console me, plus the vibration was very subtle. But it was there. I didn't sleep that night. I wouldn't sleep either.
Yeah, no.
I would be up the whole night, like, just surveying at that point, just like a robot, just going from corner to corner.
Yeah.
Heck no, man.
Lights on 100%.
Oh, this is not the only thing that happened. Oh, we're gonna keep going.
Nice.
I kept feeling watched. I couldn't sleep, and I started seeing random things on my photo camera on my phone. For example, I was taking pictures of some clothes in my closet, the scent of J, and decided an outfit, but the camera had swarms of what seemed like dust particles floating in the camera view like a river. But when I took the picture, they disappeared. They were not orbs, but to this day I do not know what it was. I started to believe that whatever it was lived in my closet because I began to hear voices. Oh! Goosebumps.
Ugh.
You should tell them the story about you hearing the thing that imitated my voice.
Oh, that happens so much. It wasn't even just you.
No.
Because it imitated my mom, too.
And your daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just randomly while I was doing stuff in the house, I'd hear them say something, and they were not in the house.
No.
They
Usually I
were
was at
out
work or
working.
something, or...
And then I just hear them. I'm like, it was just weird. And I went to go check. Nothing. Every single time, nothing.
But guess what room it came out of?
This one.
This one. The one that we are currently in.
Every single time.
What was it you were hearing? You told me, like, I came home one day and he told me that, like, he heard, like, me laughing. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, I heard you laughing in the storage room and you weren't home. And that creeped me out because I was like, no. Impossible. But no, it did happen. And I think that I started hearing our daughter's laugh or her voice, like, in this room as well when I was home and she wasn't here. And we were like, oh no, like, we just did not acknowledge it. But it was really creepy. And, like, I think there was, like, a couple times that you would tell me you would hear my voice and I was in the house, but I didn't speak.
Yeah.
And you were just like, I swear to God, I heard you say something over there, and then I wasn't over there. Like, it's just creepy.
Thank God that stopped.
It stopped a while ago, like a while ago. And we're hoping whoever's in this room to not start it again. We don't want to be terrified and shit our pants. One day I was on FaceTime with my friend Jay and told her, I'll be right back, my mom is calling me. I left for maybe 10 minutes, leaving the phone in my room, still on call. When I got back, she asked if I had been really gone, and I said yes. She then called me a liar and said, I saw a black figure in your closet peeking around the corner through the camera. It was calling my name and sounded exactly like you.
Nope, run.
This was impossible because no one was in the room, and my closet is so small that it literally only has room for my clothes. There was no corner to hide behind. I started to freak out and shake, asking Jay what it looked like, and she could see my panic. At first, Jay and I both started to think that we were pranking each other. She thought I was acting, and I thought she was pulling my leg. But all of a sudden, a golf ball-sized glowing orb appears on my side of my FaceTime screen, starting at the That's the heater.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm terrifying myself right now. Starting the top corner and slowly drifting across the screen and disappearing on the opposite bottom corner. Well, I'm glad that you said it was an orb because it definitely was by the sounds of it. Jesus. My jaw dropped as it went right past my face on camera, and Jay's did too. Did you see that? She asked in a hushed, panicked tone, and in that moment I knew this couldn't be fake anymore. Over the weeks, the socks started disappearing. I got trapped in my closet by something moving to block the door while I was changing, and I started to freak out because it was stalking my ex too. You had an ex at 14? Wow. How do I know this? Well, my cousins busted out a spirit box one day, despite my pleas not to, and began to speak with it. It claimed its name was George. It said my ex's name collects and marbles. I called my ex and asked if he did, and he said, how the hell did you know that? It also said territory and my name. At this point, I realized that it only started when the doll arrived and my mom said to get rid of it. She was freaked out too at this point and was really concerned, so I put it into a Walmart sack and set it near the back door to deal with in the morning. The next day, the bag was gone. My dad said he thought it was trash and threw it away. The trash ran early that morning, so there was no chance of getting it back, saging, burning, and banishing whatever it was altogether. As soon as the doll left, the haunting stopped. But, and it's not finished as the last little bit, and she left like a huge space. But ever since, I every so often will catch a glimpse of the figure, or will be visited by George himself.
Yeah, yikes.
The fact you still have the thing coming and going still in your life, that I couldn't. I have goosebumps. I'm freezing right now. I am. Oh.
Well, we got rid of the things that brought these things here in the first place, and then they still stayed
Yeah.
for a very long time.
We
And
have...
then all the other stuff I watched too. Those things also came and
Yeah,
went.
this dumbass over here watched a YouTube video while I was away at work, and
No, you were right next to me.
no, I
Yeah.
wasn't there because
Yep.
you watched this. No, this was the time that I was not here for sure,
Well,
and
which
you
one
watched the Dybbuk
No,
box.
you were here for the Dybbuk box.
I don't think I was.
Yeah.
Who knows at this point? It was like what, a year and a half ago, 2 years. So, this man's dumbass over here decided to watch opening of Dybbuk boxes on YouTube, and
I watched one.
you watched one, and shit started happening right after
that exact night.
Yeah. So we had a conclusion of, I think that we did. He did send something here from that Dybbuk box. We don't know. We do have sage. We do. We have some. We got given by a friend of ours who dealt with, I believe, these type of things before in her house when she moved. She was also one of the things that she gave us was a TV. I don't think we have it anymore. No, we got rid of it, but it came to our house because she had to stay at our house for a little bit, and she left her TV here, and let's just say she left whatever was in our house too. So we have like a lot of things that we do try to get rid of it. We did get rid of it for a while. It stopped all the activity, but it just recently started up again. So we thought, well, why not do a podcast episode on this? So I believe that was like the two long ones. I lied. There is one more long one, but we'll read that one last. The next one we're going to read is a spirit seen in a house. This is on Paranormal Encounters. This was posted about like 2 days ago. So, I'll get into it. This wasn't me, it's my sister. Okay, so this is about her sister. So she wrote it for her sister. She lived in a ranch home for several years. It's always the ranch homes, if I'm honest. Let's just get this clear. Almost every haunting is in a big rancher house that looks beautiful as can be, but is the scariest thing you can probably encounter. If you watch any of Paranormal Investigators, you will see that they all go to ranch-styled homes when they go and do investigations. That's the only red flag of owning a ranch house. And I really want a ranch house. Yeah. And now that I think about it, maybe I don't. The house was owned by an older woman, and her brother lived next door to my sister, and her nephew lived across the street. This is basically my family, how we live, because we were all in the same area. Excuse me. My sister said she started to notice things like her daughter's hair ties moving around to different spots or disappearing and reappearing at random. I never thought of that.
Yeah, don't look into it.
I'm not going to look into it. She finally said out loud, "Would you please stop moving my daughter's things?" Things settled down after that. Then one night she heard her daughter's door shut in the middle of the night, and when she rolled over, the older woman was standing...
Hell no.
Was standing there. She said she wasn't scared of the woman. She just saw her and went back to sleep. How the hell do you go back to sleep after seeing someone else in your house, in your bedroom, beside your bed?
I'm more freaked out about my daughter's door being closed very loudly. That would freak me out. Way more.
But I mean, like, you don't know if it's paranormal or not because of the fact that, like, kids do get up in the middle of the night. I mean, adults get up in the middle of the night when we want to go to the bathroom. But, like...
I'd still go check on that first before worrying about the lady that's standing right next to me.
I have goosebumps. My hair is standing up. So, like, can you see that?
Yeah.
Like,
wow.
Oh. That just... I don't know why that freaked me out. Reading that sentence in my head and then reading it out loud freaked me the fuck out. So, my niece was a bugger at night with sleeping and wanting to stay in her own room. Oh, this is her niece. Her niece saw her.
saw
It
the old
wasn't the
lady?
mom.
Okay.
I just read that wrong. The niece woke up in the middle of the night to her door shutting and then looked over and the older woman was standing there. She was not scared, so she turned back around and went back to sleep.
Yeah, I still wouldn't be able to do that.
And she was a bugger at night with sleeping, so she wanted to stay in her own room. Okay, now I understand. I was like, the mom saw that and didn't. I don't know, because a mom I think would react.
Definitely. A lot different.
Fast forward a couple years after my sister had sold that house to another family, she was in the grocery store when she saw the couple who bought the house. She was chatting with them and they said, "Can we ask you something? Is that house haunted?" My sister said, "Why? Did you see something?" They said, "Yes. Their son was crying in the middle of the night and the husband kept feeling someone pushing on his back, like trying to wake him up, and when he rolled over, the woman was standing there." He described her to my sister and my sister said, "Yep, she's the same one I saw." We wondered if she was watching over the kids in the house, and when one of them were crying or not, when one of them were crying or not happy, she was just watching over them and trying to alert the parents. She was never scary or menacing. I still live down the street from the house and so bad want to ask the people who live there now if they've seen her. My sister didn't want to see a photo of her but asked the nephew if she had died in the house. He said she had not. So, no one died in the house that we know of. But there's an old lady there that is parenting for parents in the middle of the night.
Well, that sounds nice.
I mean, would you? You would probably think it's me pushing you. I don't think you would think it was some... Unless you turned around and then you saw the old lady and then you'd be like, "What the fuck?" And you would probably like turn around and whip me awake.
Oh no, I'd be so calm. I'm not gonna tell you nothing. You'd freak out.
I would scream.
Yeah, I'll be very, very calm about it.
I would scream.
Babe.
No, because your breathing is going to alert me, and I'm going to get up and be like, "What? What is..." And I'm going to see her, and I'm going to be like, "Oh, this bitch. She here. This bitch is here."
Yeah, I have a feeling you would scream.
Well, people think... there's a couple... there's 2 comments, and it says, like, obviously she went back to the house, and after she passed, and she's just haunting it. Simple as that.
Sometimes
I
they're
like the
very
simple.
chilled.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Gosh,
Just let them be.
that's horrible.
Yeah.
And
If weird
terrifying.
things start to happen, that's a little...
When shit starts getting aggressive, you need to leave.
Yeah.
So...
Sometimes you can't leave.
No. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like though we've now racked up our brain with a bunch of paranormal stories and stuff like that. We're gonna be in our own heads right now, thinking, "Oh, is someone in this room with us?"
I really want to do a challenge right now.
No, we're not doing a challenge
so
right now.
badly.
What?
We can do it next time. We can do it on a different channel.
Yeah, we'll do
Where
it
we
on
just sit here with the lights off. And we just talk.
This sounds like a Sam and Kobe investigation
Sounds
challenge.
We're not here to capture anything.
I do not.
We're just here to do it for the fun of it.
I do not consent to this. I don't want to be haunted or messed around with.
I'm definitely doing it at some point.
He's the only one doing this, just so anyone in here is aware. Witness that I am
we
not
need some
a part
subscribers,
of
and if you guys think I should do it, I'll do it.
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we will be starting our own channel. I'm still going to be doing this podcast and bring people onto it. But we are going to start our own Kyle and Jess channel. But it's obviously going to be like parts of different things like podcast episodes and reaction videos and wherever the hell he wants to do, I guess. Because
Yeah.
he might just do it by himself and it will be the Kyle show for that day.
Might be.
Anyways, thank you for joining us on this episode. I know it's a little bit of a longer one. These stories were quite long. If you stayed to the end and you bared with us, thank you. Please do give it a thumbs up and please do subscribe. We will be posting a lot more regularly.
regularly.
Thank you. You almost fucked that up, so don't even. I will. This is also posted on all of our social medias. I will be posting snippets of it on Instagram and TikTok. I also have it uploaded onto Spotify. If you don't want to watch the video and you just want to hear the audio, it is on there, and it will be obviously on our YouTube channel. And yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do for the next episode. We might keep that half surprise, half whatever, and we'll go from there. So, yeah. All right. Bye, guys.